The following announcement is paid for by the Wrestling with Nerds.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Hey there, the name's Nukem, Duke Nukem, and you're watching the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. For some unknown reason, enjoy.
This honky tonk man, greatest intercontinental champion of all time, and you're watching Wrestling with Nerds podcast. Yes, that's my favorite. Shake, rattle, and roll.
What's going on, wrestling nerds, and welcome back to the Wrestling with Nerds podcast. Tonight we are talking about last night's Saturday night main event from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. What's up, boys?
What's happening, brother?
Woo, woo, woo.
Well, kind of woo woo woo. Granted, she did do a couple of his moves.
You just did not Nassau, and that's the first thing that popped in my head. Woo, woo, woo. I know it.
I thought it was you know it.
It is, but I know it.
I
I'm
know.
the guru. I know it.
I hate you. We haven't even been doing this for 30 seconds yet.
Winning, I'm winning.
So, what were some of your expectations, boys, going into Saturday night's main event? Was it just a glorified PLE on network television?
Hey, time out. Production job. On the YouTubes, it has TJ as the guru.
What? Wait.
I know, Guru.
Oh, when you shut your mic off, when you shut your camera off and it reset, it moved you.
Well, I'll be damned.
Well, don't shut your shit off.
Mm-hmm.
But Ryan, what were some of your expectations on Saturday night's main event as WWE is bringing it back?
Well, as the guy that's seen the originals, I was head over heels. I love when they do this retro stuff and they stick with it and keep it going. I love the Saturday night main event. I love the music, the pops and circumstances to it.
The body.
Yeah, he was a shocker to me. Really, either they were feeding him everything he was saying, or he's actually paid attention and got caught back up on the product. But Jesse just gives that heel. No matter what he does, he gives you that heel side of color commentating, where it's like, cut the ring off, use the ropes to your advantage, do this, do that, and that's what makes Jesse Jesse.
It was very refreshing, honestly.
Yeah, it was actually pretty fun to watch him there in the main event part. I hope they bring him back or bring somebody back for the January one. The intro was great. I love that they used the old neon light WWF entrance on the video wall to start the show, which is the red, white, and blue outline thing that was really prominent in the early 90s.
Ryan, what mic are you using right now?
This one?
You're very choppy.
How about now?
Better.
Okay. So like that was fun for me to see that again. I always loved Saturday night's main event because it was something special. You didn't have to pay for it, and it was going to be on network television for everybody to watch. Also, Pat McAfee return was fun to experience as well. I love the little shtick at the beginning of the show where Michael Cole's like, "I've been waiting to see this for years, and it's live from the Nassau Coliseum. It's Saturday night main event." And then McAfee's like, "I think we nailed that. So
you could tell that they've been missing each other.
Yeah.
And we should be getting Pat back for a while, right?
I believe it's full time for the Netflix show. I don't think it's going to
So,
be.
how's that working out? How are we getting our commentary teams when Raw goes to Netflix? How is that? Is Cole and Pat going to Netflix,
Yes.
and Barrett and
I don't know if Tessitore is moving to SmackDown or if he's just going to kind of become a host. Could very well be. He could become the host of Raw on Netflix.
I don't know if I'd like that. I like him better as a commentator. Like I've really, he's grown on me.
Yeah, he definitely came in and filled that role better than some others have tried.
I don't know. Sometimes there's parts where like he's not as enthused with what's going on as he should be. Now, granted, the one I can't stand is the one everybody loves, and that's Mauro Ranalli.
Can't stand him
I don't
either.
like Mauro Ranallo.
I honestly wanted to mute the Mike Tyson thing
Yeah,
because he was
he's
announcing it.
so over the top with the Mamma Mia's and all that stuff. I never cared for
Mamma
that.
Mia Super C.
I liked. I think he's on TNA now. I can't think of what his name is. Shit.
Todd Phillips.
Yes. I actually like Todd Phillips at the helm. That's why I like listening to him on TNA. And then I like Vic on NXT. I just hate his cohort.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
He ruins Trick's entrance. He really ruins Trick's entrance. But last night's Saturday night main event from Uniondale, New York's Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum had 14,186 people in attendance. They did call it a sellout. And it was definitely a throwback because as we were watching it, Ryan, they had security guide the wrestlers through the through the ramp down towards the ring. You said that might have had something to do with what happened to TNA the night before.
Well, I think it may have. Eddie Edwards got in an altercation with a fan, and the fan slapped him.
Ooh.
But also looking back on it, thinking of the older Saturday Night, it's a main event. That was the way the wrestlers made their way to the ring. They would have security around them, kind of protecting them because the guardrails were so close. Last night they kept the guardrails close as well. So it was just it was more of an homage to the originals than it was the TNA incident.
And say TNA had people, coming to the ring and murdering Jordan Grace.
That wasn't just anybody. That is, I don't care. You can hate her. You can call her a bully. You can call her whatever you want. That right there. If you guys missed TNA, the wonderful and in my opinion, one of the most talented female wrestlers of any generation made her return to TNA on Friday night. Tessa Blanchard has made it back to the States, and she's on TNA, and it looks like her and Jordan Grace are going to go head to head, and I love it.
Yeah, you were saying yesterday you think this is Jordan Grace's last hurrah in TNA?
Basically.
So let's get to Saturday night's main event, everybody. They had a dark match, which I kind of upset that we didn't get to see the dark match. That was Motor City Machine Guns defeating 8-Town Down Under in 8 minutes by pinfall. I am really enjoying Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, watching them more and more and more. Kind of wanting to go back and seeing them in TNA, Ryan. So I think
now was there was no like spot in any of that with Ciampa and Gargano?
I don't know. It was a dark match.
I didn't know if you had gotten any details.
No, it was just a straight match.
But
yeah, that probably would have been a good one.
I've always enjoyed Chris Sabin, and Alex Shelley. So this feud that's gonna start between the new heel DIY and Motor City Machine Guns is gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Are you Are you okay with DIY being heels? Because I know you weren't huge on them being faces.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to split them up, the best thing to do is turn them heel. Because I mean, besides the Bloodline, there really was no heel tag team faction. So I'm
Okay.
perfectly fine with it. Um, I like Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano. He's good too, but I like Tommaso Ciampa. Um, and it's gonna be fun. I can't wait for them to finally split this A Town Down Under up and let Austin Theory be a face. I think that'll be fun when that happens.
Do you think he's kind of grooving towards being a good baby face once they split him up?
Yeah, because like if you watch like the stuff with I think what they were talking about was they did like some Christmas stuff for coats and all that kind of stuff for the kids, and
Yeah.
he was one of the ones there, and you could kind of see him be himself, and it looks more entertaining than the whole cell phone guy and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking kind of forward to an Austin Theory face run at some point, and I wouldn't be shocked at some point on that face turn you don't see like maybe him and Cena become or have a tag match. That would be pretty interesting.
It would be kind of full circle too from where they
Hmm.
started.
Yeah, no kidding. But let's get into the first actual televised match. Drew McIntyre defeating Sami Zayn by pinfall in 10 minutes. Um, I don't know about you, TJ, or how Ryan you did last night, but my buck got a perfect score on our little fantasy game.
You and about 10 other people, and us included.
Okay, just checking.
I think
All of
anybody that didn't pick Drew McIntyre in this match
us.
is insane.
I didn't look at everybody's scores, but I do know that at least everybody got perfect except for Rob because he's a dork.
This was a fun match. It's pushing Drew McIntyre even more as a overwhelming bad guy. But now his goal is to go after anybody associated with the bloodline.
Or with helping the bloodline.
That
Yeah,
too.
I have a feeling that Drew McIntyre is on a crash course with Mr. Roman Reigns.
You think he's going to go right up the food chain?
I think he's going to take out each individual member and he's going to get Roman last after Roman takes care of Solo at Raw, which we now know is a uh,
Tribal combat match.
yeah, tribal combat match for the Ulafala, or as LA Knight called it, the Oompa Loompa, or whatever you want to call it.
So wait, if it's a tribal combat match, does that mean at Raw we're getting a Hell in the Cell match? Because that's what it was before.
No, I just think that's where that match lined up, where it was the Hell in a Cell pay per view.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think you're just gonna get basically the same thing we saw at WrestleMania, the same thing we saw at SummerSlam, where it was Bloodline rules. This is gonna be the exact same thing, only they're called tribal combat.
And we know everybody who's going to be involved then at that point.
Do
Very
we?
much.
Well,
You never
Jay,
know.
maybe Punk.
There's so many of them that can just pop out of the woodworks.
Yeah,
Including the big one, you know.
But
I did
I
it. I did it for the
I
Rook.
didn't I didn't really watch this match. I forget what I was doing. I was doing something, and but I really
Was it
didn't.
sleeping?
No, and I really didn't need to watch this match because I knew Drew was going to destroy Sammy. And that's pretty much what I've been told as what happened. Drew is getting ready to go on a hot streak here as this monster heel that's just he has this new persona type thing where it's I've given too much to this company or this business and it hasn't given me anything back. So now I'm playing with basically the house money and I'm going to destroy and do whatever I want. So it's going to get interesting. We saw over the weekend he stormed off of a podcast with Busted Open. He just left. Um, There's a video going around with him and Sheamus going into a gymnasium for school kids, and they're chanting OTC, and he just turns around and walks away. so
Screw
this
them
Drew,
kids.
so this Drew McIntyre, no, I don't owe anybody anything, could get very dangerous and could be a lot of fun.
Just sounds like it. Let's go to match number 2. Liv Morgan defeating Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. Are we done with Io Sky, please?
I'm glad you said it because I've been ready to say it for about, I don't know, a year. I'm
How about
tired of
anybody from Damage Control?
I'm tired of the botches every time, and everybody's like, "Oh, she's so great. She can't hop up on the ropes and do a move without tripping over her own feet."
I mean, I did enjoy what happened after this match.
Yeah, but that was known. Like that was.
I had no clue that Rhea was going to show up.
Yeah.
She said she was next in line after Io. Would you think she was gonna wait till the Raw?
Probably, yeah.
It was a good match between the two of them, and I mean, there at the end with towards the end where Liv kind of snaps and slaps herself in the face pretty hard a couple of times was a little nutty, and then
She's
Io
going
said,
Alexa Bliss crazy.
and Io says, whatever you can do, I can do better." Because then she plants her knee in her face and busts her lip open.
Ow.
I'm just, I think we all knew Liv was gonna keep the world title in this picture, except for
I didn't
Rob. This is the
see
one he got
any.
wrong.
I didn't see any titles changing tonight.
Nope.
No, I didn't.
Other
either.
than one being crowned, because obviously that one needed a
But
body.
then
to put on.
again, Saturday night's main event has that thing where there isn't title changes. There's only been two title changes ever on Saturday night's main event. One being the tag titles with Demolition and the Brainbusters, and the other one being probably one of my favorite episodes of Saturday Night Main Event, and that's where Shawn Michaels beat the British Bulldog for the Intercontinental title.
I think I saw that one.
That was a good one.
I'm definitely on the train of Io. I was over Io at Mania, and we're still riding that train with management. Apparently,
The one thing that I loved about last night was there was no extracurricular. It was match, 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 match. There was no backstage.
it was a very
promos.
good wrestling card.
Very much so. And they gave everybody plenty of time, and everybody worked good to a point. And it kind of, like you said, like it went like super quick. For me, it was like, wow, we've already done 3 matches, and it's to like, I think it was like 10 after 9. And I was like, wow, that.
It didn't feel quick. It felt like time was moving quick. The matches were perfect length.
Yeah. But it was like, if this was a Monday Night Raw, that would have been one match. That hour and 10 minutes would have been an interview and a match. And here it was 3 matches.
And good matches, worthwhile watching matches.
Even for the time that they had. Well, I'll just run down the times. You had 10 minutes for Drew and Sammy. You had 9 for Liv and Io, 11 for Gunther, Balor, and Damian, then 8 for Chelsea and Michin, and then 12 for Cody and Kevin. You can't tell me that
those don't seem right. Like they just seem so quick, and they didn't seem that quick last night.
But the thing is, there's at least in my philosophy, there's matches that go on for way too long that don't have enough stuff in it to give you why it's so long. These matches were paced right. They had the right amount of action, and it never had that moment where, all right, this match is starting to get stale.
It felt like to me this match has been practiced for the last month at house shows.
You mean like this card?
Because it was just like, other than one match, everybody was hitting their spot. Like it was snappy. It was quick. It was There was no weird moment where someone trips over their own feet and is like falling off the ropes now to eat a kick that they were already supposed to have eaten.
All right, let's move.
Good.
Let's move to the World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther defeating Finn Balor and Damian Priest.
Yeah, I mean, I like the result. Is again, Priest has yet to lose clean to Gunther.
This was a Gunther I'm not playing games anymore match.
Yeah, when he's walking down the aisle, he's freaking touch me. Don't touch me.
The match was really good between the three of them. I thought it was really clean. The finish was what it needed to be, where Gunther is not playing games anymore. He takes out Damian with the powerbomb on the steps, and then he hops in the ring and takes out Finn with the powerbomb in the ring.
That's I might be weird with saying this. I'm actually coming around to Gunther a little bit. It's not that I hated him. His matches to me they're actually telling more of a story instead of I must break you.
Yeah. The one thing that I don't like, and I don't know why, I just don't like it, is I hate the match is brutal and the match is brutal and the match is brutal. And then at the very last 2 minutes or whatever, it's like boom, boom, boom. Like everything that they worked up the whole matches means nothing because Gunther's gonna quickly pick up and do a power bomb or one of those type things, and it's like you're not selling anything that you did before the match or during the match. You're just hurrying up and hitting your power bomb and pinning him. That's my thing with Gunther's matches that I don't care for.
Okay. I mean, I see it, but his last couple matches, at least in my opinion, have really raised the bar.
I mean, his match in Survivor Series with Damian was my favorite match of the night, and then this match here was solid, really solid. And probably if it wasn't for the main event match, it'd probably be the match of the night for me.
No, we'll get to the main event match. Next match, the tournament final for the WWE Women's United States Championship. Chelsea Green defeating Michin. I'm very happy they went this route and not Bailey or Bianca or one of them. I am very happy that it's a Chelsea. It could have been a Piper. I would have been fine with a Piper or Michin. But this was another really good, well-paced match.
And I like how throughout the match they talked about the history of these two. You know, Chelsea's 7th year since like debuting, her first match was with Michin. You know, they played it up where like they weren't favoring either side, but they were giving historically each competitor their due.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think the right person won this belt to start out with. You know, the history now, kind of funny though. I did find a Canadian is the first United States champion for a female. That was a little, made me chuckle a little bit with the way you two always are acting. But yeah, I mean, you know,
Chelsea... look at you, a Canadian with the U.S. title.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Canadian. Anyway, it was just a good. I think the finish is what it needed to be. A heel mid-card title champion for the women here. I wouldn't be shocked if a face wins the other one. So
I hope it's Lyra.
That would be a face. So
I know.
That would.
I'm just saying. I like Lyra.
I don't. She has yet at all to connect with me. It's like she got the nod from Becky, and I'm like, and? Like, I don't care. Like, why? okay, Becky respects you. I don't, and I still don't, and she's done nothing to change that. But I mean, whatever. They see something in her.
Ryan, what'd you think of Chelsea Green winning the women's U.S. championship as its first champion?
I think as much as these two have wrestled each other in the last 2 months, the beginning of this match was sloppy.
You did
It
say that.
it was super sloppy. Like they were just awful on each other. Um, I like Meechin. I've liked Meechin Medium for a while. She's a very good worker. Um, Chelsea is, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure Chelsea out because, yeah, when the bell's not ringing and everything, she's entertaining. But like when the bell rings, it's not entertaining. Does that make sense? Like the overselling of like any move that goes to her was kind of annoying last night. I don't need you to look like the world's falling underneath your feet every time you get hit in the face. Like every time she got hit, she goes, "Oh," and she just stands there. It's like just sell it. Um, the finish was great. I did like the flip off the top into the unpurred here. That was very very interesting. I didn't need the Piper interference. I would have liked to have seen it go 1-on-1, heads up, but I understand it. Um, she's already got her side plates on her title, and
Went to Disneyland.
yeah, we're off to the races with Chelsea as the women's United States champion until they want to put it on somebody important.
Who's first?
Who knows? It could
I
be
wouldn't
anybody.
even mind Michin getting another shot at it somewhere. Piper barred from ringside or something.
Very well could be. I
I
just hope
would.
they don't. What I don't want to see is I don't want it to become, and they do this with champions all the time, and it kind of drives me nuts. Like up until this tournament, Chelsea would lose, and she would lose, and she would lose in dramatic fashions, and then magically she goes through the tournament and beats everybody clean, wins the U.S. title, and then
She's gonna go on a losing streak.
nobody can beat her, and that's how it normally goes.
If anything, I'd like to see one of these belts kind of not move as much as, say, the 24/7 championship, but let it change hands. There's a lot of mid card women in this company that could and should hold this belt. We could
Keep
throw. I'm not
calling it a
saying
belt;
like
it's a title.
whatever.
Strap.
A belt is what hold your pants up.
I don't care.
Goddamn
This
Canadian.
could be the freaking pants for all I care. I know Logan Paul wore it that way.
Might need a couple extensions.
Just
Might
for
need
me.
a bigger centerpiece too.
But I mean, there's no reason why it can't and shouldn't move. It doesn't need to move every week, but I mean, if it changed hands for the next few months, once a month, I wouldn't be shocked. It'd be cool.
I
It
don't.
makes sense.
They're not gonna hot potato the title.
I don't think they
That's
will either, but it'd be nice to see because if you're trying to make a title believable in a division, a mid card division believable, then the belt should move. It shouldn't be held by one person forever. Otherwise, you turn into these situations where you are right now of, well, who could even beat Gunther? It took Sammy how many tries to beat Gunther, and basically Gunther feeling like he was untouchable to finally lose that belt. Like I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to
no.
do the Ronda Rousey treatment where nobody can beat her.
Unless your name's Liv Morgan, then you can beat her twice.
I mean, even Liv, at least Liv has, even though she's won, she's had help. Dominic's helped her. Like it's gotten believable with her if she's getting the extra credit assistance to be able to hold on to that belt longer than she should have. Where, like, Gunther could have easily lost this belt if it's not for Finn Balor. A couple of, multiple times now.
True.
I don't know if I want Chelsea's first opponent to be Bailey or Bianca or even Naomi. I want these belts again to be the up and coming people, not the championship, the main title people looking for something on the side. I don't want them to go down a level.
Establish a mid card and a title picture thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, and honestly though, I'd put Naomi in that mid card. I don't think she's a real threat to the champion. Maybe that's just me, but I haven't felt. I mean, every time she gets a match, I'm like, I know she ain't winning. She hasn't been believable that she's a threat to the champion since before she left.
Yeah. Well, shall we get to the main event?
Where somebody else gets to pull out their belt for this week?
Cody Rhodes defeating Kevin Owens for the WWE Undisputed Championship. And for one night only, it's the Winged Eagle making its return to Saturday night's main event.
It needs to be permanent.
It really does. It was so cool. Fan service moment. I mean,
does it need to be that Winged Eagle, or can they take the WWE title and make a newer Winged Eagle version of version?
Is it the Winged Eagle if it's not the Winged Eagle, AJ?
Well, it still could be.
No,
I mean,
is it the Winged Eagle if it's not the Winged Eagle?
You can modernize this championship title and it still be the Winged Eagle, because I knew when they were talking about it, it was like, it's not going to be a replica, or it's not going to be an old copy of it, because of course it's got the WWF logo on it. That all it was a shop.com title. Now it wasn't this one. It wasn't this one, because this one's dual plated. The one Cody had was all gold. If you're gonna go with a title, go with dual plated. It looks better. Got pops, gold, not gold, gold, not gold. Anyhow.
So what era version? Wow.
This
did Cody
is the
have
original.
last night?
Oh, that is easily like Brett and Sean, mid '90s.
So right around 97. What we're finishing up next week?
Pretty much, yeah. That was the second version copy of that title, is what it is. It's the all gold version.
I love seeing it for the nostalgia factor. It looks really, really tiny.
It always was a smaller world title. It wasn't. That's what made it different from like the big gold, which is why I was always more of a fan of the Winged Eagle, is because it didn't have to be so big and gaudy looking. That it was clean and it was an eagle and it just looked better on people. The Winged Eagle is, I think, majority of everybody's favorite, except for AJ, who thinks the big gold is the best one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I was wondering where you were going with that.
Or the gaudy one he's got around his waist.
I like the older version of this one.
I like the older version of that one compared to that one.
I don't hate this one.
I am not a fan of it.
It grew on me. I don't, after carrying that thing around at WrestleMania, I don't want one. But this one is still the best. This one is the dual plated one. This is the one that I always wanted. This is the one that was introduced at Saturday night's main event back in 1988 when Hogan and Andre fought each other. It was the and I think it still is. It's the single most watched sports entertainment event on broadcast television. Somewhere around 33 million people tuned in to watch
Wow.
Hulk and Andre for this title. That was the famous twin referees that screwed Hogan out of the title that led to the tournament at WrestleMania 4. So this one is always near and dear to my heart. It really is now because Hogan's signature's on the back of it. So to see this title last night, and Cody did a really good job of hiding it for the most part
Until
until
they
his
opened his
jacket
jacket.
popped open a little early. But it was just freaking cool. I think everybody knew when they saw the video of Hunter telling him he had it for one night only. It was like, well, we know what this is gonna be.
Yeah,
So it was
Stardust.
fun. Yeah. Uh, so basically everything after that was kind of like bonus for me because after seeing the Winged Eagle and that kind of stuff, and you could kind of see that like Owens was staring at it like I want that. Um,
Because it's the stuff they grew up seeing.
How about the chair uses at the end of the match?
Let's actually talk about the match.
the match was fantastic. This was one of my favorite matches I've seen all year. I enjoyed it.
Wow.
I really, really,
Okay.
really enjoyed the back and forth between the two of them. I enjoyed. I think I enjoyed it more because Jesse on commentating. To be honest with you,
I had a lot of fun with him playing the
Cody,
heel announcer because we don't get a
Cody,
heel announcer.
Cody playing the ankle and Jesse picking the ankle apart and telling that's what he needs to focus. That's what KO needs to
Cut the
focus
ring
on.
off.
That kind of stuff was really fun for me. The table spot with the RKO was nice. The table not breaking actually benefited a little bit more. Um, the Fisherman Buster off of the top rope with KO. That's one of my favorite moves from KO, just because it takes so much more to twist while you're in the air and nail it. Um, it was just a fun match to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. It is probably no doubt one of my top 3 favorite matches of this year. I really, really, really enjoyed watching it.
Dude,
Um,
I went
the
back and watched it
chair,
again this morning.
the chair play was great because it's not Cody Jesse played it up well about Cody having to use the chair, and then Michael brings up the fact that Cody's not the one that introduced the chair. Kevin Owens was. We had the 2 ref spots, which we can't talk about the refs enough. They threw it back to the long sleeve blue shirts with the bow ties. And
It
Charles Robinson took
got nailed.
one hell of a bump.
So did Eddie
Um,
Orengo too, the second referee.
yeah, but Charles Robinson was more of a brunt stop
Like
type.
like a whiplash kind of hit.
Yeah. I bet he thought Savage was dropping the elbow on his chest again. Um, and I just thoroughly enjoyed this match. Cody like going to hit the crossroads, and then he looks over and he sees the chair. Like, I don't see a ref, and there's a chair. It's a Hulk Hogan move, 100%. That's something that Hogan would have done in the '80s, where it's like, the ref, there's no ref, and this guy brought it in. I can use it, and here it comes. Um, Cody gets the win. Uh, is this the end of Kevin and Cody? I don't think so.
Uh,
Um,
Especially the after match stuff.
yeah.
I don't
Um,
think we're done with this.
Yeah, which is good booking by Triple H because he's making you go to social media to see the stuff that happened. So like,
I'm happy
for
you
people
thought
that don't know,
I'm happy you
Cody
thought that too because I know people were pissed that they didn't show
Cody
this.
Cody did his typical live house crowd thing where he was like Long Island, and before he could get anything else out, Owens attacks him. Um, doesn't just hit him with a pile driver. He hits him with a package pile driver, which is a little bit more brutal of a hit to take. because basically you trap the opponent's arms at their legs, and it's like they're like in a ball, and you
Yeah.
drop them with a pile driver. It's a little bit more devastating hit, and I absolutely positively love, because the other show's not doing it, but the WWE is making the pile driver relevant again, and they're making it super ultra dangerous, or making it seem like it is, and I love that.
Well, it's
I mean,
not
like
what
when
it
finishing moves were actually supposed to be finishing moves.
Yeah, when you take a basic move like a pile driver, that it's not basic, but you know what I mean by basic, and make it seem so brutal and so legit. It would be like if they would do it with Jake DDT. If you start dropping people on their heads with the DDT and you make the DDT more vicious again, it's the same feeling that they're giving the pile driver. It's not, we don't have to do it on a steel steps off the apron and still wrestle 15 minutes later like the other show does. Simple pile driver, and it's lights out, match over.
That
Like,
was
game over.
heel Alexa Bliss. Her finisher was the DDT.
I thought it was
Um,
Twisted Bliss.
That was when she was a face. She never used Twisted Bliss as a heel.
She
I
ain't
just,
using anything now.
She'll be back.
I thoroughly enjoyed this match. It was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I enjoyed the after stuff. The match was great, but I love how it continued afterwards. Um, I was kind of shocked to see Triple H kind of get involved. I don't know if you guys caught that video.
I don't know where that's headed. So I think they're just trying to make the Kevin Owens anti-establishment Stone Cold Kevin Owens type character. I don't know if that's where they're going with this or what, but it
Because
could get
Hunter
very interesting.
came out because Kevin had the belt up high and everything. Hunter comes out, smacks it out of his hand, gets in his face, and does the chest bump like you want to go kind of thing. And Eddie Arango, the referee, comes in, and Triple H just shoves him right into Kevin. It's get him out of here, as Triple H is heading down towards where Cody is.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where that's going. It's going to be intriguing to see where, though.
So I don't think Hunter
sure.
can ever wrestle again.
I don't think so either. But what's the famous line in this business?
Never say never.
Never say never.
I'm just worried about all his heart issues. Cause doesn't he have a defibrillator or a pacemaker in his chest?
I think so. Yeah.
He is a pacemaker.
Might make it a little difficult. I'm no doctor, but I'm just bad bump.
Listen, if
Hey,
70,
we had a guy working construction that worked with a pacemaker, still doing what he did.
if 70-some-year-old Ric Flair that has one can wrestle, Triple H can too.
Yeah, but I think Ric Flair does it because he needs the money.
I don't disagree with you.
I mean, $400 bar bills for himself, a couple nights a week. Eek. Oh, now
It's an honor it's an honor and a privilege to be Ric Flair.
But we are getting Saturday Night's Main Event a couple times a year now. I'm excited if what last night kind of shows us what we're going to be getting. The next one in January, I think it's January 25th, 6 days before the Royal Rumble. I am really excited to see this happen more and more. It's on network television, and that brings more people to the product.
I am to a point. And with us reviewing 1997, there was another show that would pop up throughout the year that wasn't a pay-per-view, that was an important show like this. And honestly, the quality of it got worse over time.
Well,
I hope
you also were experiencing the very, very end of Clash of Champions, which you had. Your last one was in August, was the last one ever. But there was a difference between WCW's Clash of Champions and then WWF's Saturday night's main event. It was two totally different shows.
Well,
Um,
my point with what I'm saying is it feels like, especially being right before the Royal Rumble, and we all know how they're treating Mania with 2 nights and how they're going to 2 nights with some of the other big programs. Feels like they're going to use this as the first night of two. You know, like, oh, this is technically like basically night one of the Royal Rumble, and night two of the
Being
Royal
six,
Rumble is the Royal Rumble.
being 6 days or 7 days away, you think that they're gonna?
I don't
But
think
that's
you're
what
gonna.
it feels like.
I don't know. I think what you're getting is like you're getting. They're gonna highlight the hell out of the Royal Rumble.
Like
At
this
that,
was Survivor Series Part 2.
nah,
I didn't get that at all.
I didn't get that at
No,
all.
I didn't, but because it was the first one. But think about it. I mean, we're not that far removed.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not even supposed. You're looking at it completely different. As in, this was not. It's not meant to be a Saturday night's main event is just a 2 hour advertisement. They're advertised. All they did last night, besides the matches, was they advertised this whole thing for Netflix.
Right. I
When they
hear
get to the
you,
Royal Rumble, it's
but
just
it's
to
at
get
the
more.
exact same time of the PLEs.
Well, I mean,
Starts the exact same time.
it's primetime television. You're gonna run it at 8 o'clock.
And I'm just saying, if they keep lining it up where it's just before one of the big four, obviously WrestleMania doesn't need one. It is 2 nights. SummerSlam is transitioning to 2 nights. But if you keep running it right before the Rumble and right after Survivor Series,
It's getting new people. It's the idea is to get new eyes on the product leading into a big show.
well, then let the ratings show that. If the ratings show that, I'll eat crow.
Well, that's
Well,
the thing.
the
That's what
ratings
I
aren't
thought
going to
they
show
were
that.
doing.
The ratings aren't going to really reflect that as much because everybody that normally tunes in is going to tune in, and you may get a couple extra here and there. But the idea is to give it a chance now to try to. What Hunter is trying to accomplish is he is trying to get WWE back to being a mainstream, on the tip of your tongue type programming. That's the whole purpose of any of this that he's been trying to do because you
But are they
face it, the
not
last
there already?
no,
No, I don't think
no.
so.
I mean, every time they're on, they're number one trending on Twitter. Sell out
Okay,
crowds.
TJ,
Yeah,
Best
but
gate.
but
I
10
mean,
things can be number one trending on Twitter at the
they're
same
not
time.
it's not whether they're trending number one on TikTok or number one on Twitter or that kind of stuff. He's trying to make it back to where it was in the 90s and the early 2000s where it was like there was celebrity and Hollywood events that wrestlers were attending, and it wasn't, oh, it's just the wrestlers. It was like, oh, wait, it's John Cena hosting the ESPYs type deal or those
I
type
still
deals.
remember
It's
that.
not
Butt ass
so
naked.
much, oh, it's just the wrestler guy is here. He's trying to make WWE on the tip of everybody's tongue that everybody and their mother wants to go out and watch WWE. That's what they're aiming for because they're doing the same thing with they've tried to do the same thing with UFC, but UFC has so much turnover rate that people fall out of it because the guys they like are going to go away. And what Hunter is trying to accomplish is to bring back that feel of WWE is one, it's must see TV, and two, it's back in the limelight. It's top 10 topics of the day type deals. And doing Saturday night's main event on NBC on broadcast television makes it so that one, they're selling the ads that they're going to be on Netflix and that SmackDown's going to, it's kind of like a say, hey, here's where we're at now. come watch us. This is what we're gonna put out. Whereas they're basically trying to bury the other show as far as we're a better product, we're higher
Well, the other show's
quality.
getting buried as it is. I mean, they ain't even beating NXT in ratings.
Oh, really? That finally happened?
But it's not
Been happening, AJ.
it's Hunter and them trying to reestablish that WWF is or WWE is a global trademark brand that needs to be in the same realm of other big name brands.
I will give
That's
them, they
all it
picked
is.
the perfect sports weekend for it because there was one college football game on.
I mean, they're not stupid.
Yeah.
This, I think, went head to head with the Army Navy game. And did
The
you
Army
even tell
Navy
me,
game was over.
was it? Well, either way, I mean,
It
could
was
you even
over
Yeah,
tell
by
me who won that
7 o'clock.
game?
Army Navy play at 2 o'clock.
Did you even tell me who won the game?
Yeah, Navy. By a lot.
Yeah, it was like
Ah.
31 to 14 or something like that.
I believe 31-17, but yes.
Yeah.
But no.
And I slept through
And,
most of it
and,
because I had to
and
work.
I think Ryan hits it right on the head there. At least what I said before he went off on his tangent. It's a way for a new audience to see wrestling because it's on network television. People still, what is on? If they're on Hulu TV or YouTube TV or whatever they use, it's like, oh, well, this isn't normally on, not normally on.
Yeah, and I think it's more of the chance of like it's trying to bring in that fan that went away. When you get into the fields of Saturday Night's Main Event and you're a guy that watched it in the 80s and you stopped watching here for the last 10 years or so and you're like flipping through TV and oh, Saturday Night's Main Event. I remember when this stuff had Bob Uecker and Dick Ebersol and Buster Douglas was on here because Hogan and Savage fought, and it was supposed to be Mike Tyson was the special enforcer, but Buster Douglas beat him the week before in Japan. So what do? Let's scrap Mike Tyson and let's put Buster Douglas in here um as um your special guest referee for the match on Saturday Night's Main Event. They're gonna use it to stay current with other media outlets. They're like this one in January. I would imagine the next one is probably going to be somewhere between. It's probably most likely going to be somewhere between Elimination Chamber and Mania because you got Elimination Chamber is March 1st, and you don't get WrestleMania until April 19th. So there's probably going to be another main event in there somewhere. And all they're going to do is they're going to promote WrestleMania and they'll probably have one or two celebrities show up. All this Saturday night's main event is, besides being great matches, is a way for them to show here is a free episode of what our product is. Because now, if you think about it, the only one that's going to be free, or the only two that's free, is NXT and SmackDown. You now have to pay for. You're paying for Raw now.
Yet. So how long we giving it before WWE buys that pissant company?
I wouldn't buy it. I'd let them run out of business.
Well, they Dynamite, which was what, Wednesday? Wednesdays are Dynamites.
Mm-hmm.
Had about 3,000 fans, and Collision had about 2,000 fans.
Well,
Why buy it? What is worth there of buying? And you ain't gonna buy it. It's Tony Khan. Unless the WWE can suddenly afford the Jacksonville Jaguars.
well, I mean, TKO can afford them. But I don't think that'll happen. I don't think WWE's in any way, shape, or form worried about what AEW is doing.
No, I was just curious because I saw a post earlier today that what Ryan's been saying for months, I think TGU as well, they need to go to smaller arenas.
Yeah, they're gonna go to smaller arenas in 2025. Finally, somebody
talk some sense into them. But I'm I'm very excited with the road we are on when it comes to what we've seen lately. Um, really wasn't a bad match on the card. There was a little bit of a sloppiness for what you were saying, Ryan, with the Chelsea Green and Meechin match at the beginning, but I still think the right person won.
Io Sky is Io Sky.
The biggest thing I took away from it also was we didn't get a certain return that was rumored to be going on. So I would say to look forward to seeing that possibly January 6th.
Ooh. Charlotte?
Charlotte.
Why was she rumored?
The rumors was she was going to make her return at Saturday Night's main event. Evidently, it's going to be a whole new version of Charlotte Flair. It's a
What? So what version? So she's not going to be the queen anymore?
apparently she's been working on something that will kind of distance herself from the whole Ric Flair robe, all that type stuff.
She's gonna
That's
come out with a mask like Andrade?
I'd be curious because it's Charlotte. You know who she is. It's going to be interesting to see how she could separate herself from that.
I mean, she could easily modernize the whole Queen gimmick if she wanted to be.
Start
I mean,
talking
we're
with a
gonna get
British
a
accent.
we're gonna get a Queen versus fucking Queen Naya.
I also, she comes back. What's her first move? It's got to be one of the main titles, not the undercard title.
I wouldn't be shocked she wins Rumble, AJ.
I would say that she probably doesn't need to be in any title picture from when she first comes back.
Why? What do you think her first move is going to be? Oh,
Any,
okay.
give me her and Bianca, or give me her and I believe the original plan was probably like her and Tiffany. Give me that.
Ryan, do you want to mention anything in the YouTube chat? Uh, Chief kind of mentioned that the show kind of felt rushed.
Yeah, the show was perfectly timed out. I didn't see
We kind of
any
hit that
problem with
earlier.
it.
If anything, you just need to go back and
He's
Oh,
also commented
I
about
didn't
that.
realize that you messaged him.
Yeah, he's also commenting that Tony Storm made her return to Rampage. Yeah, the timeless Tony Storm character is kind of over with, but it's kind of like Tony's got like split personalities because she's introducing herself to people and saying it's that she's all lead and she's just now showing up there where she's been there. So it's kind of like, okay, we'll see how that gets driven into the dirt.
we'll see how AEW
Um,
works that storyline.
as
And
far
the
as
thing is, I like
AEW
Tony.
goes, as far as AEW goes, is I don't know what side's up and what side's down anymore. It's taken a year for you to finally get a payoff for MJF and Adam Cole. Neither one of them are in the world title picture. Neither one of them have the mojo or the unks behind them that they had a year ago. So really, who cares?
Yeah, I really
Um,
think their characters for the most part are DOA now.
you've got you've got Moxley and his Death Riders running a rampage over the show and the two that they're taking on are by far the two worst. And I don't care who tries to argue with me about it. You're not gonna win the argument. But he's in a main event picture with two of the absolute worst wrestlers in the history of any wrestling. I don't care. That being Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. They're both horrible. I don't care. Again, I don't care. The
Okay, I thought you were
gimmicks are
going to say the Young
stupid.
Bucks.
They're just, it's just dumb. Um,
That's funny because I thought you were about to say the Young Bucks.
one and the same, but I can't stand Darby Allin. Can't stand Orange Cassidy either. It's just dumb. I don't like it at all. It's not wrestling. It's gymnastics with a trampoline and a camera. here, watch us do our bounce around and get all of our shit in. So I've tried so much to watch it and just can't. Cardona is facing Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Title. That could be interesting to watch just because of that match, seeing those two fight each other. But other than that, I don't have anything for Ring of Honor. So yeah.
Justin Fleming says Meechin got screwed last night. Bro, completely given up on AEW. Don't blame him. I go, yeah. We tried. Trust me, for everybody watching, we tried.
I can't. I love. Don't get me wrong. I love professional wrestling. I can watch wrestling for wrestling's sake, but you have to give me some sort of story. And AEW stories are like a really bad sitcom because one week they could make sense and be really cool and be like, oh, this is going to be fun to watch. And then next week they'll totally shit all over the story that looked like they had planned and it just becomes horrible. And I just can't watch it. I can't watch a show where all anybody cares about is making sure that they get their shit in so that their stuff looks good and we no sell anything. Um, I just the final straw for me was whatever their last pay-per-view was. I don't remember what it was, but this Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. I wanted to really
That was
like that
stupid.
because they both there's
Flip,
there's
flip, 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 flip,
there's
flip.
tension
Flip, flip,
there.
flip.
There's like real animosity there because it's student versus teacher type deal, and like they could have really done something cool with it. And the moment you tombstone pile drive somebody off of the apron onto a set of steel steps, and it's not the end of the match, you've totally lost me. And Mr. Fleming in the YouTube chat, you are furthest thing away from the truth. Triple H is doing a fine job at booking, and he is nothing like Vince McMahon. Take that shit somewhere else.
Wow. I read it. It was like perfect timing once you said it. And while I do agree, Meechin kind of did get screwed a little bit, but you have Piper out there for a reason.
Yeah. And Meechin will get her time. Meechin is proving that she is without a doubt a mid card competitor for that. And Chief, yeah, I 100% agree. AEW likes to try to copy New Japan and have all these tournaments that are going on, and they're tournaments that nobody cares about. To be
No.
honest with you, nobody cares about a Continental Classic tournament of A block or blue block versus red block versus who gives a shit block. I mean, it's
Green jacket,
absolutely
gold
horrible.
jacket.
It's just I've tried so many times. I would rather watch TNA on a regular basis than I watch AEW.
Whoa. Don't put TNA down there though.
Well,
TNA
I
has been
meant
freaking good.
to me watching them, I put TNA above AEW.
Oh yeah.
AEW has the star power, but TNA is by far a better product. Dolph Nick Namath is killing it as the world champion. Moose is the X Division champion, which I kind of like. The big guy being the champion of a title that.
For the little guys.
Well, the original premise of the X Division was there were no limits, and he's not the first big guy to be the X Division champion. Abyss was at one point the X Division champion.
Yeah, we know
So
Ray Park is now.
I like that. You got the geriatric Hardys as their tag champs, but I think that's kind of because of Chris Bay's injury. I think the original plan was for Ace and Bay to beat the Hardy Boys there with his neck injury. Thoughts and prayers with Chris Bay, by the way. If you get a chance, go to ProWrestlingTees.com, buy the Chris Bay shirt. That money goes to him. and paying for his medical expenses with his broken neck. Um, like I said, Tessa is back in TNA. I'm all for it. I love me some Tessa Blanchard. Give me the little flip, the hair flip and the wink, and I'm happy. Not Roxanne Perez's version because she copied Tessa Blanchard. Um,
Yes, Ricochet is absolutely trash. I didn't mind him in WWE because they kind of kept him, I guess, on a what you're gonna do leash. His match, what, about a month ago, where the whole thing was just flippy dippy doo dah between the two of them, and they weren't even doing anything. Yeah, go out there, go do gymnastics. That's a great
TNA
idea for a
isn't
match.
getting good now. I disagree because Tessa is black. I don't care. Like I said before, I don't care what your opinion is on her. When she's in the ring, she's one of the best female wrestlers in the world. And I mean that, in the world. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world. If you have a problem with her being a bully in the locker room because she wants everybody to get better and whatever other reasons you have, so be it. As I like to say, if you don't like it because she's a bully, life's hard. Buy a helmet.
And TNA isn't just getting good because she's there. TNA
T-
has been good.
TNA has been good. I'll give them that. We're gonna get Joe Henry versus Nick Nemeth at the next pay per view for TNA, and that's for the TNA World Title. You're probably gonna get your Joe Henry title then. Um, is it a little late? Maybe. Um, but
Or he loses and goes to WWE.
I
I,
still think he's in the Rumble.
I, I'm, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with Joe Henry. The entrance music's great and all that kind of stuff's great, but like I feel like the in-ring work needs to be cleaned up just a little bit and get a little bit better. And I think working with Dolph will get that because Dolph is a hell of a hand. Um,
Well, the thing is, and we've had this conversation multiple times throughout many episodes, Ryan. He's got the gimmick. He's just average in the ring. And I don't know if that's something he can get better with.
oh, you can definitely get better with it. And I think working with better wrestlers will get you there. Working with Nick Aldis, working with Eddie Edwards, working with Moose, working with those guys will get you better. My question becomes is when does JBL show back up and clothesline the hell out of him?
Yeah,
Because he
what is
seems to
JBL's
be
character? The
like a lonesome desperado that just shows up at random wrestling events and clotheslines the hell out of people.
I might be the only person that thinks this, but his clotheslines are the best.
JBL's is one of the top best clotheslines of all time. I will give you that. It's not Rick Steiner line ish or Stan Hansen lariat versions, but JBL's clothesline from hell is by far some of them in the late '90s where he just didn't give a shit look like they hurt
Well, not
because they
just
probably did.
not just those, but the way he gives them, where he's putting everything into that arm, like he's leaving his feet to just
Uh-huh.
like he ends up sitting down.
There's so many times where I watched him give somebody the clothesline from hell, and I wondered what row their teeth landed in.
So I think it was an Eddie Guerrero match with him, where Eddie, I think, does 2 backflips off of a clothesline and then still lands on the back of his neck.
Yeah, yeah. JBL's clotheslines are some of the most brutal hits I've ever seen.
Like
But
if
you
somebody
have to
has
give
like
him credit because they're selling. He's making the simple move of a clothesline that devastating, and you don't see that anymore.
no, clotheslines are basically used now. If it's not a double clothesline, just a okay clothesline. Guy pops back up. Clothesline. Guy pops back up. Guy swings his arm. You duck. You pick him up with a spinning backdrop, and then for some reason it goes up in the air, and then you end up doing like a
Shut up. Nobody cares about your damn John Cena bullshit. By the
Hey,
way, has anybody taken notice that they're only promoting him for Elimination Chamber and not the Royal Rumble?
has anybody taken notice that they stopped advertising him for the first Raw?
Yeah, I say they're not if you've paid attention, they're not even advertising the Royal Rumble. They're advertising him for Elimination Chamber, and we have the Royal Rumble first.
So I'm guessing that means he's gonna be in one of the chambers.
Who knows?
Well, I think we've run through everything. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, next week, we're gonna do our
Finally.
final installment of 1997, WWF versus WCW,
Finally.
and then we're gonna wrap up the end of the year with our Nerdy Awards, the WWE version of the Wrestling with Nerds award show. Top heel of the year, top face of the year, top champion of the year, top female of the year, top male,
Time out
top
for a second.
timeout.
Chief, I don't know if it's been the best year in WWE, but it's up there with one of them in the last 20, I would say.
I mean, I don't think the three of us would disagree that it's been a pretty badass year of wrestling with WrestleMania.
Speaking of that, when we do our Nerdy Awards, do we have to wear our tuxedo shirts?
Tuxedos. Does TJ still have his?
Yeah.
Does it still fit?
Yeah.
It covers a tit.
I think I have mine somewhere. I'll wear it. I don't care.
I wore it on the show before. I wear that thing all the time. I don't know what you mean.
I don't. What was
either.
it? What were we telling the people around us right after SmackDown that night when we started changing right in the row? We're here to party or something like that?
Oh, it's a tuxedo t-shirt. It means I'm formal, but I'm here to party.
Everybody was, and you could still see us. I have the photo on my phone where you could just see the three of us just.
Oh yeah, we are easily noticeable in the opening minutes of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, if you guys, Chief, thanks for the sub. If you want to know what we're talking about, go back and watch the Hall of Fame induction ceremony from this year, and if you're looking when it shows pans out for at the beginning of the show, if you look to your right, you will see three fat guys in a orange, blue, and green tuxedo T-shirt in the crowd. That is us for WrestleMania.
It's like you can see it, but the minute I turn it that way, you can't.
Yeah, it was the Hall of Fame, and we felt like we needed to be formal for it, so we went and bought Dumb and Dumber tuxedo style T-shirts.
Idea.
It was fantastic. It was great.
Got a lot of chuckles that night from it.
Yeah, the ones around us thought it was great because the show SmackDown ended and I had a white shirt on underneath, so I just hurried up and changed shirts. AJ's over there stripping down naked to put a shirt on. TJ's got his shirt on already, and it was like,
which I'm happy.
What are you guys doing?
Security didn't come get us. Because when I turned around, there was a freaking kid, and I'm just like shirtless right now, and I'm just like, sorry.
It was
and they're just lucky we didn't put WWE on our bellies, man.
We'd have been like, if we'd have done that, we'd have been like the West Virginia guys. Have you seen this? Where the whole group of them spelled out West Virginia on their bellies, and everybody for Virginia was lined up right, but the morons for West had it backwards. So it was TES or TSEW instead of WEST.
They went
would have been
west.
us. It would have been WEW. Which is a totally different wrestling organization that I highly recommend that if you're not 18, you don't watch.
Oh.
It's called Women's Extreme Wrestling.
Oh, is that like the Lingerie Football League?
With less
so
lingerie.
far gone here.
Less lingerie.
All right, everybody. Well,
By the way, Chief says he's seen us.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Uh,
But yeah, so next week,
That was us.
the finale, Raw, or WWE versus WCW, Raw versus Nitro, the month of December. This is the deciding month because of the one-tie month. We'll figure out who had the best year of 1997. The following week will be our award show, and then we are off until the beginning of the new year with a lot of really cool things planned.
We got a couple big games. I just need to check on the spreadsheet.
So we're looking forward to it. Stay tuned. We will see you guys next Sunday night.
You gonna do it, TJ?
We're waiting on it.
Doses, yay!
There we go. Bye, everybody. Hit that like button, subscribe.